a whole 3 pounds.
No, make some room.
Miss Ma'am, let's not be snooty.
So I got a good few questions here.
Okay.
But most of them, the first 15 are pretty general.
Okay.
What was one of the... What's that?
Yes, no, maybe.
Okay, that's good. Strongly agree.
Please go sit down. Thank you.
What was one of the biggest challenges you faced while raising us, and how did you overcome it?
I'm sorry.
I would say,
It can be as a whole or
I
individually.
would say financially was like the biggest challenge, and that wasn't
Yeah.
because of you guys. That was just because
No,
of our
it's-
situation, because we had a child
Single income.
before. Yeah, we had 1 kid and 1 income, and
Then 2
And-
kids and 1 income, then 3 kids and 1 income.
I think we overcame it just by doing what we had to do. You know, just you guys didn't. We didn't do family vacations and stuff. Like you guys didn't get a.
Can you not do this right now? Go see that.
You guys didn't get a whole lot of.
Then I'll fucking undo it. I'm so sorry.
She can sit down there. Just put her in your lap.
No, I'm fine. It's fine.
You guys didn't get. We didn't do vacations and stuff like that. I don't. You know. So I mean, I think that just by doing the basics we could do and making memories on the cheap was probably how we overcame it.
That's, what was one piece of advice you wish someone had given you before becoming a parent?
Be in the moment. Be in the moment, and don't let daily life distract you from watching your kids grow up. Because we did. We let work distract us, television, and I'm more in the moment with the grandkids than I ever was with you guys, and that was a huge disservice to my kids.
You can do what you have to do in the time.
Well, you do, but I would have liked to have. I don't know if I'd have followed it, but I wish somebody had told me that it goes by really fast,
Yeah.
and that you really need to be with the kids. How about you?
Yeah, I just
Hey, you got any advice, Dad?
try to be with your family.
Spend time with the people who matter.
Yeah. Because if you ain't got no money, you ain't got no money. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
What were your dreams or goals when you were my age? Or well, you had kids at my age, so maybe before kids.
I always thought I would be a psychologist or a psychiatrist because I was always the one in school that all my friends came to. So I thought I would, if I was going to go to college, that's what I would have done.
No, she's my therapist.
Oh gosh, it's probably got the short end of that stick.
How about you?
All through high school, I thought by 35 I would have a house, be almost paid off, the kids would be going, I'd be set, everything would be comfortable. I didn't realize at 35 I was going to be struggling like I was.
I think you would have done like you were wanting to go to college to be a mechanic though, right? Like you didn't get to go to college.
No, I never got to go to college. There was no money for it.
I think you hit the point right on the head. Is there anything you wish you had done differently in life?
No. Other than being more present for my kids, there's really nothing I wish we had done different because we have 3 kids that are amazing. We have beautiful grandchildren, amazing son and daughter-in-laws, and no, we're right. I've always believed that you are right where you're meant to be in that moment in time, and everything we've done up to that point in time got us to this point. And if we had changed what we did, who knows what would have happened?
Yeah, truth to that.
You two are ridiculous.
Hey, you guys go play.
No.
Yeah. How did you and Mom meet? What drew you to them? Is that a loaded question?
No. May
Better with
of 1990, I was at my parents' house where I lived, and Rory showed up in the Mach 1. And this
I think
one
I've
comes
heard this
riding
story.
in on a motorcycle in
Yeah,
black
yeah.
jeans,
I'm gonna marry
black
that man.
boots, black t-shirt, black helmet, blacked out face mask. I was in love from the minute he pulled in my driveway. He was my cool rider from Greece too.
She was crazy.
Mine and Abby's story goes a little similarly. She was first thing after we met. I walked away, and she looked at the list, said, "I'm gonna marry that man."
Yep. And Connie laughed at me, and here we are,
Alyssa laughed at her too.
35 years
Yeah,
later.
we've all lasted 2 of Connie's marriages.
What do you remember most vividly about your own parents from your childhood growing up? What really stands out, maybe?
Not being there.
Not being there, always busy.
Yeah, always busy with Eastern Stars.
Eastern
and
Stars
working.
work.
They worked at Willard, so they worked all 3 different shifts: first shift, second shift, third shift.
And they
They
always work the opposites,
second,
right?
They worked first and third opposite each other when we were young, so that someone was always there. But then when we got older, in our teenage years, they both worked like third shift. And then one would work second, one would work third. They rotated all the time. And then they'd have stuff with Eastern Stars going on, and that was always had something to do with that. And they didn't go to our projects at school, science fairs, stuff like that, because either they were working, they didn't have time, or they were busy with Eastern Stars and Masons or something.
Which is why we strive to go to everything you guys did, because your father wasn't going to have you guys feel that same way. And as far as me with my parents, what was the question again? What
do you remember most vividly about your parents growing up in your childhood or early adulthood?
My mother they were both very loving, but my father he didn't become the grandpa you guys know until after I got pregnant for Laura. I'd say after Grandma had Shane. He was always busy working and stuff also, and he wasn't a super involved father. When the boys came along, when Tomer and then Shane came along, I think by the time Shane came along, he was in his mid-30s and he was ready to be that involved parent. And but they were always like, I never doubted they loved me and stuff. Your grandma was just always worried about whether the house was clean, whether the kitchen was clean, but she was always very loving and caring. Like, she always made sure that we were okay, and if there was anything wrong, she tried to take care of it.
That's grandma, though. That sticks through even to today.
Yeah, she's a fixer like I am.
Yeah. What's one lesson you learned the hard way? The one that comes to mind first. I know you probably learned some lessons in your life, as we all have.
No, there's a lot of stuff. I learned everything the hard way.
That's very true to that, I guess.
I don't know if there was
Didn't
nothing.
have a lot of
sticks out.
guidance, so I just had to do it and learn. If it was wrong, well, that was the hard way, and figure out how to do it a better way.
I think that's the best answer to that question you probably could have given. That's
Like a break.
yeah.
It's like the 4th vehicle in a row.
Here comes the Harley. He's the quietest of the 4. That's new.
That is. I'm surprised it's actually so quiet.
What's something you're really proud of that you don't talk about often or ever?
People really need to get their exhaust.
I know what his
here.
issue is.
I don't know. You don't know.
I mean, trying to recall something like that, I'm sure it can be a challenge.
Just in general, I'm proud of the fact that we've got, like, for everything that the craziness that our life was and still is sometimes, I have 3 kids who like to hang out together. And when you guys were growing up, I swore to hell you were going to hate each other. But you guys chill together. All of your spouses get along well with each other and with you guys. And I'm really proud that we raised the kids that we did that actually like to hang out together.
Except for John.
John's busy.
and who love each other, even though they don't say that to each other very often. I know you guys all love each other, and you'd be there for each other if you ever need each other, and that makes me, as a mom, makes me proud.
That's good. What advice would you give your younger self if you could?
Don't be so hard on yourself.
Stop stressing.
Okay.
Know that everything will eventually work out okay.
Those are probably the 2 most overstated but least understood pieces of advice you can get in this world.
Because life is too short to worry about the small things.
You can't sweat the sand when you got gravel.
Yeah, you need to worry about, you need to concentrate on the small things that are not actuality the big things. Your happiness, your giggles, your memories, your kids. Don't concentrate on the fact that you can't pay this bill this month, or you can't afford to go get these, what you want. You just need to be happy with what you, with the small things you have.
He's trying to steal my paperwork. What are some traditions you loved growing up that we don't do anymore?
Loved when we were growing up.
Yeah, I love that when the kids were growing up that we don't do anymore. Now that we're all adults.
You guys grabbing your stockings on Christmas Day and coming into our bedroom. That is one of my
Christmas
fa-
2025.
Everybody.
We'll break that Amish bed frame and the ratchet strap holding it.
No, I used to love that. I loved that we did that. End of the year barbecues, cookouts, burning the schoolwork, stuff like that. Like just the small things like that. Christmas Eve at Grand's and Grandma and Grandpa's going down and just being with the family.
You don't burn schoolwork anymore. You burn the mortgage in 30 years.
At 25, we're nowhere near ready.
Do a mortgage burning, right? That's the equivalent in adulthood now, and you don't get to do that every
when you
year.
pay off my mortgage, well, I'll burn it.
Hopefully. What was the happiest time in your life so far?
Looking, no, you go for it.
It doesn't have to be in the past.
I don't know. Seemed to be happier when you guys were younger, even though we were broke, beyond broke. Things seemed to be smoother. I mean, like now I make 5 times the amount of money I made back then, but it goes less, and it just seems to stress out more. So
There's a lot
we
to
had,
decide
we had
from
5
that.
of us on one income, and it worked. We always had 2 cars on the road. Always, we didn't have money to go on vacations and shit, but we always had stuff to do. Things seemed to flow smoother back then.
My happiest time, just having everybody together. When I can have all my kids and my grandkids in one place. That's what I like.
It's pretty nice.
That's part of why we bought this big fucking place.
Yeah. This place always feels like home. I always know there's a home to go back to no matter what, which is a very good comfort. It's a feeling of security
And as much as
that
I
a lot
love
of people don't get blessed with.
as much as I'm glad you're on your own and you're doing your own thing, we would figure it out like we always do.
Yeah.
And I love having Laura and
Okay,
John
bud?
and the grandkids here, and I love having Nariah and Matt here. What you looking at, Laura? Oh, they playing?
Is there a family story or memory you think everyone should hear?
I think you guys have kind of heard them all.
Everyone doesn't need to be us. Everyone can be our kids, the grandkids, when they're old enough to share in this.
No, I think there's too many to narrow it
Too
down
many
to.
to narrow it down.
There's cool things like the fact that, like my grandfather was in World War II and stuff. Like, to me, that's cool to know that history. And the fact that we just kind of made it happen over 35 years, and just, I don't know. There's a lot of good memories. There's a lot of things that I loved when they were happening. It's just hard to think about them.
What's something you've never told us but could share now or want to share now? You got any juicy secrets? Can you get her up on there with you? Mom smiled, so I know something came to mind immediately. Of what?
When your father was
Young.
Oh.
younger than you, and him and his girlfriend would park, they would put silver X's on the road, and people all over Ovid for like 6 months were trying to figure out what these silver X's were.
That's amazing.
They were like, there was like 2 or 3 in front of the school. They were all over this end of the county, and nobody knew what the silver X's were from, and him and Julie would just smile and walk away.
That's good. That's clever. That's
He's had a can of silver spray paint.
yeah. I would have never
nowadays.
thought to do something like that. That's funny.
I don't think I have any secrets that. No, my life's just an open book. I think you all know, like, all my history.
This is the last one that isn't about like parenthood. What do you hope your legacy will be? And I guess even that is.
I hope my legacy is that I always have a family who loves each other and is there for each other.
You don't want to be the matriarch that passes away and lets the family fall apart.
I don't want that.
I don't want that either.
That breaks my heart. That
It
would
does. I
break my
hate
heart.
hearing stories about it.
Yep.
I've gotten teared up in work because
Yep. That would break my heart if something happened to Dad and I tomorrow or 30 years from now, and you guys didn't talk anymore, and you didn't.
I don't think that'll ever happen. I think
I hope not.
our internal supports are too
I
strong.
hope we have raised you guys enough to know that family is the number one thing.
Because a lot of that's happened on my side of the family.
Yeah.
Once the matriarch goes,
Yeah. Donnie's trying his damnedest to keep
He
the
is.
family together.
The only one on.
he is.
outside.
They really
Yes.
do put a lot of work into keeping the
They do.
Millers and Weirs
It is
involved.
very much Donnie's
That's an active effort.
driving life to.
They
make
gotta
sure
give him the
that-
respect for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's worried. Yeah, you can tell. He's getting worried. He doesn't want that either.
No.
Damn. Yeah, makes me feel for him a little bit. So these ones are more about parenthood and raising children.
Okay.
She's okay. What surprised you most about becoming a parent? Well, good or bad?
I think just how quickly it goes. Like how, like when you first have that baby and you're like, oh, it's gonna be 18 years, so I'm gonna have to be responsible for this person and stuff. And like,
It's like I graduated last week.
yeah, like the next thing you,
Oh,
I mean,
wait.
I
No,
literally,
that
realized
was
I've been out of school
35
for
years
10
ago.
years.
right,
Huh?
which is weird, right? Think
no,
about that.
yeah, and I'm only 26. Like 9 years. Next year's 10,
Yeah.
but like
It goes
this month is
so fast.
my 9-year anniversary.
I think that is what surprised me, and I didn't realize how fast it went until I got older. And I look back and I'm like, how do I have a 34-year-old daughter and a 29-year-old daughter and a almost 27-year-old son, and how do I have grandchildren already? That in one that's going to be 13 in October, like it's
You got
crazy.
a teenager grandchild. That is crazy.
It's crazy because in my mind, I'm still like, I have to think about the fact that I'm not 25 years old, and actually think about the fact that I'm not 18 because I almost feel like not emotionally, but like part of me is almost stuck in that, like when I got pregnant for Laura, almost stuck in that time because
bud?
it was such a drastic change, and so like it's like I'm almost like still 18 sometimes, like if I know I'm not, but like you just sometimes you think about it, you're just like, wait, how am I not 18 still? Like how do I have kids that are
It's like at work. I look at guys that are younger than me, and I think of them as old. Like, wait, I got 5 years on him.
That must be wild.
Yeah, 'cause-
I already find it happening to myself, and like
yeah,
at
because
26,
I mean, like,
I'm just.
I see these older guys sometimes, and I'm like, I'm 57, and I see these guys that are in their 40s, and I like ask them for advice
Yeah,
sometimes.
you're Freudian slip there. You said 5 years, talking about 57. You got 40s in your head though. 5 years, it's probably closer to that 12.
Yeah,
Well, the fact that 2030 is closer than like 1991 just blows my mind. We've been in this house. We'll be in this house 20 years in November.
That is great. 20 years.
20 years in
I
November.
thought we were. I was 9 when I moved.
No, you
out.
were 7.
7.
I was 9.
And do you remember how long it took you to want to be more than 50 foot away from us? Because
Yeah.
you had.
I remember being terrified of the upstairs bathroom. And then I went over to Doug Smith's, and they watched The Grudge with me there.
Oh.
That ruined me for the next 3 years.
I did not know
in
that.
this house. It was The Grudge. Yeah, it absolutely
I still have not
destroyed
seen
me.
that movie.
She comes out, and there's a scene where she comes out of the ceiling of the shower, like through the floor,
Oh,
through the
God.
ceiling.
No, thank
and
you.
it just destroyed me for like the next 3 years in this house by myself trying to shower. Terrified.
Now we know why I shot the TV.
That's what I watch.
What was the hardest part of raising kids that you didn't expect? Like obviously things are going to be hard, but what was expensive. Yeah. What was the one that came as a surprise that, emotionally or physically or?
Not being able to make it all okay.
I worry so much about that.
Because I did you guys a huge disservice because I would, like, if you guys went to school and you forgot your homework, I'd bring it to you. If you didn't take your lunch, I'd bring it to you. I was always trying to get you out of the problems you got into, and all actually did not teach you guys at that point in time to do it yourselves. And that is one of the biggest disservices I ever did to you guys, is coddling you, being a helicopter parent. And it was because I was so afraid that I didn't want you unhappy. I can tell you, in all honesty, a mother is only as happy as their unhappiest child. And when you guys are upset or your hearts are broken, I am there with you. I'm wallowing in that with you. I cannot enjoy what's going on if I know that one of you guys is unhappy. I just can't do it. And so I never wanted that. And so I always tried to sweep in and rescue you.
I understand the guilt.
And I
feeling.
probably shouldn't have done that. I probably should have let you guys go through it.
That's a piece of advice that's going to stick with me past this.
And it's
I
hard.
worry very
It's hard
every day
to let
long.
your kids suffer through even the smallest transgressions.
That whole, they won't do it a second time.
I didn't want you to do it a first
She
time.
didn't want to.
There's times.
I would let you guys do some stuff and let you
There and watch disapprovingly.
fuck around and find out. But your mom was like, no, that can't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to watch.
On
your
the
kids
same note, I'm very good at vicarious learning. So I don't know how well that goes into play, but I've gotten really good at learning from other people's mistakes.
I still
I've
do it
always
to this,
done that too.
I still do it to this day with you, with all of you guys. Like, if you're like, hey, this happened, I'm like, what can I do to fix it for you? What can I do to make it right? Obviously, you need to do it yourself, but I, as your
Yeah.
mom, don't want you to have to be stressed out about it, so I'd rather be the one to be stressed out.
Yeah, we should all work on that. What did you worry about most when we were little?
I worried about losing you, whether it
Yeah.
be physically losing you, like kidnapping, running away, death.
Did this happen after I got lost that one time, or was this
I've
long
lost all
before?
three of you at one point in time, okay?
Okay, so I was playing on trauma.
All three of you have been missing for about at least 10 minutes at one point in time or another. You, I think, were the first one. No, Laura was the first one because Dad, when she was a baby,
had
Dad
9
took
years
her to
ago missing on
Ovid,
me.
and I didn't know Laura was going with her, and I went outside the trailer to holler for Laura, could not find Laura. In a panic, checking the well out back, or the pond that they had dug, like the 35-foot hole with water in
Couldn't
it.
call him.
They had dug. Couldn't call him.
No
So I
cell phones
called,
at the time.
knew
Yeah.
when he was headed for the Big M, I called the Big M. And John's grandmother, Carol, actually answered the phone. I'm like, hey, Carol, it's Loretta Bennett. I'm looking for, I can't find Laura. Henry just brought and ride it over, and she's like, Laura's with him. I'm like, what do you mean? The little redhead, she walked in with him.
Thank
Are
God,
you kidding
Carol.
me right now? I said, okay, thank you very much. And I hung up the phone. Then I went up one side and down the other. I lost you in Trumansburg
Yep.
at the Winterfest. And then I forgot she had after school and she was going to go to Girl Scouts that night. And I panicked when she didn't go home. Went to Girl Scouts, couldn't find her. Unbeknownst to me, I had signed paperwork for her to go to an after school at the school. So she was at the school, or vice versa, one of the two. But no, that was you. I lost. When your dad took you to Ovid that time. But I also lost you in Fortap, and you were in like 8th grade, and you were taking a test and didn't answer your phone. So I have physically lost all of you, her twice.
When we lost her, that was the day I found out a
That was
Ranger
January.
will do over 100 miles an hour in a snowstorm.
Because we had cell phones at that time, and I called them and said, I can't find Nariah. She didn't come home from school, and she's not at whichever one. I can't remember if it was a school or Girl Scouts. And he said, I'm on my way. And within
love
15
CCN.
minutes, he was in Ovid on icy roads, or in Interlaken on icy roads from Geneva.
That's how you kill yourself, Father. That's how you kill yourself or don't make it to your destination.
Yeah, there was dents in my steering wheel.
Yeah, so that was always my biggest fear, you guys, growing up, is you would not make it to adulthood, because I just felt like I was going to lose one of you, one way or another. Thankfully, thank God.
We made
did
it,
not.
don't worry.
And that's blowing up the tires.
What was your biggest fear?
The same thing, losing the kids.
I think that's every parent's biggest fear.
Misplacing one of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going to the store or something, going out and going, shit, where's the kid?
That's
This one, that one, or the other one. One of them's missing. Then remembering, oh, they stayed home with mom.
Even when I took you guys and went on field trips with you guys, I was constantly like, they give you so many kids on a field trip, like you get 6 kids that are yours, and I'm constantly like, wherever we're at, I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 seconds later, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like just constantly counting those kids to make sure I didn't lose anybody, because my anxiety, like, like I cannot deal with that.
I don't think I'll chaperone any field trips. What's something you wish you had done more of as a parent?
I wish we had done more.
Yeah, more of.
Probably just spending time playing with you guys. I didn't play with you guys. I didn't have an imagination. I still don't have an imagination. So as a little kid, when you guys would hand me a Barbie or hand me a Matchbox car, I didn't know how to interact with that. And so I didn't know how to play with you.
Okay.
He did. He was great at it.
Yeah.
He had the imagination.
Charlotte loves when I play with her.
Yeah.
I'll go on. I'll tell a whole little story. It's when I start playing with Charlotte, she's not even there. I'm making characters live life. All right.
In bed and
I am reliving drama with these things, like work trauma. Just. How did you figure out how to parent when there was no manual or internet?
Trial and error.
Trial and error.
And I think some of it was doing what our parents did, and some of it was doing the opposite of what our parents did.
Yeah.
So being there for you guys and going to your stuff. His parents didn't do that, so he was bound to determine we were going to do that. With me, it was always being the mom that kind of helicoptered, because that's what my mother did, you know.
Then it always upset me when I couldn't, because I was at work. Because I always had jobs I couldn't make.
Yeah.
So, and as you know, when you guys are little, I mean, I think you just grow up and kind of know what your parents did, and like you kind of just, you know, follow
back
suit.
then, I always thought that I couldn't leave work because that's a job. Whereas as I've gotten older, I've learned I tell work to go fuck themselves. I don't care.
You can find another job.
This dude the other day,
It's-
I took Tuesday off to be with Eva for her birthday, half a day Tuesday. He calls me at 10:30. What are you doing? I said, I'm standing in a pasture feeding a horse right now. What are you doing? I'm on my way home. Why, you not feeling good? No, I just don't want to be there anymore.
What a man.
You cannot be at work if you know I'm home. Like, this is the thing. And he's like, no, that's not it. Oh, yes, that is it, buddy. You knew I wasn't at work, and so you're like, I'm going to go home.
I want to go see my wife.
I saw Dad and went, why are you home? He said, I got a case of...
Anal glaucoma.
You know,
His
I
ass
can't
going
see
to
my
work.
ass being there anymore.
Oh, he got it moving.
Choose that. On that note,
Pulling it out now.
what did your own parents teach you about parenting, both good and bad?
Tell them to pull it right up in that direction behind the lawnmower. That way we can get to it.
They taught.
Pull right up here behind the lawnmower.
Is he pushing it or driving?
Driving.
They taught me how to always love my children and be there for my kids was the good part. And I would say the bad part was not being, my dad was very much the disciplinarian. Not a lot, but, and so I tried and failed not to be the disciplinarian or the screamer. I mean, I'm sure you remember bedtimes where I was in there smacking the side of the bed.
If it makes you feel better, I don't remember seeing
You don't
one.
remember that?
Nope.
They do. She does, at least.
What?
Laura does. Laura remembers me screaming and yelling at you guys to go the fuck to sleep.
Yep.
Because I was done.
Counterproductive.
I can still remember the day that Mom sent us all to bed without dinner and then woke us up at 9:30 with peanut butter and jelly
bad.
sandwiches.
I don't even remember that, but I don't doubt it happened.
Yeah, no, I don't remember. I try to think about like, you know, bad things that happened in my childhood or things that like should stand out, and I'm just pretty mentally free of it all. I remember a lot of good things.
Good.
But yeah, no. If that helps you any. Were there moments where you felt like you were failing, and how did you handle that?
I still feel like I was failing. There's times and I guess just wait and see how it plays out and just do the best you can.
Do the best you can.
Because yeah, we all failed. We all failed. You guys, we were failed by our parents. Every parent fails their child,
one way or another.
one way or another.
I need to know how to cope with that.
You just try to make sure that.
Gotta,
I've never
gotta
heard her
try
bark.
to not put yourself down. Try to say, well, I failed. Let's just go on with life and push it aside
You just try to
and try to do
do better next time.
Better next time.
Hi, baby. Are you cold? Grandma's freezing.
You sitting with me?
What's one parenting decision you're really glad you made?
To keep Laura and have kids.
Thanks, Laura.
You're so welcome.
I really appreciate it. I've been saying that my whole life, though. I feel like it's always been held over my head.
You're all welcome.
Yeah, all right.
I'm still the only planned one.
No, I'm just glad we went along and did what we did and had our kids and lived our lives and tried to make the best of it.
I think you did pretty good. I might be
I
biased,
appreciate
but
that.
how did your approach to parenting change between your first child and your later two?
You know, I don't know if that's a fair question for me because Shane was only 3 years older than Laura. So I had helped to parent him. So I wasn't that over protective first time parent, don't touch my kid, wash your hands first. Like I didn't do that stuff because I had Shane. So when she came along, I mean, I wasn't like that. I wasn't. So I don't think it.
Few years, me and Shane grew up essentially as siblings.
It's siblings, yeah. I don't know if I actually had to change when I had Naraya and you, other than pictures. Like I have a ton of pictures of Laura.
Hey,
Matt, I have a little bit less than Naraya, and I have
come pet my pup, Matt.
I have hardly any of you, which makes me feel bad.
Hey, Beanie. She'll stop barking once you pet her. She won't bite you. You're all wet. Did the bear get you?
Yeah, they were just wrestling out in the middle of the yard.
Hey, you gonna drink all my juice? Look at your tongue. Take out your tongue. Show mommy.
Yeah, I feel bad that I didn't get more pictures of you. I have very few pictures of you when you were younger.
I have a bunch.
Do you?
There was not like a Polaroid that I had for like a month. Beanie, enough. What was your favorite age or stage for each of us, and why?
Well, now because you gave me grandchildren, so I appreciate that. Thanks, guys.
Growing up.
There's one of your grandchildren.
Growing up, with the girls, I loved the infant stage, but I was like, oh, I can't wait till they sleep through the night and stuff like that. But with you, when I had you, because I knew you were my last, that was my favorite. 2:00 a.m. feedings, they were my favorites with you because I knew that I was never going to have to do that again and never going to get to do that again.
Relish in it.
So I was relishing getting up in the middle of the night with you and snuggling, baby snuggles and stuff like that.
Mine was from 3 to
Beanie,
7 or 9.
enough.
Because that's when you guys would be more interested in being with me and doing
Doing
stuff.
things. Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like a lot of parents, both mom and dad, would relate to that, and the infant phase being the primary caregiver and the one that the child yearns for every day, and then the turning on of the consciousness and the curiosity of the world and exploring that with dad is I think it's an essential step.
And then watching you as teenagers and just knowing that you guys always you could opt to go to friends' houses, but most of the time the girls especially, they wanted to hang out here with their friends. You, when you got to be a little bit older, in your early 20s, and this group of friends you have now, you guys like to hang out here, but as a teenager you were you wanted to go to Joey's, you wanted to go to Cougars, you wanted,
I had to hide what I was doing.
Yeah, you had to hide what you were doing. Whereas the girls didn't do that stuff, and so at that point in time, and so they were they would rather have their friends come here. In fact, they would use me as excuses, either not to be able to go to the friend's house or to have the friends come here. They'd be like, sorry, mom said no, mom said you got to come here. And we loved having I loved when you guys would have your friends over and your friends would just chill here, because part of it was because it was okay, cool, this house is a cool place to hang out. Part of it was I know what they're doing. If they're here, they're safe.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about where they're at or what they're doing, because sleeping in a field when they got kicked out of a tent,
Yeah. I always want to be the cool dad friend.
Yeah.
Can we go to your house?
And now
like your
all-
dad's so cool.
You know, and you've got friends who refer to us as mom and dad, you know,
Yeah.
and Laura's friends always did, and Naraya's friends, and I love that. I love that we were that set of parents where your friends could feel safe.
That's good. How did you balance being a parent with your other roles, like partner and worker and friend? Like, how did you maintain your other relationships for parenthood?
Friendship was easy at that point in time because a lot of our friends were having kids when we were, so we all just hung out and did, you know, Rory and Cindy, Mike and Carrie. They all had kids the same age as you guys, so we all get together as friends to hang out. So that was super easy when you guys were younger.
That's very convenient. Yeah.
The partner thing,
That got a little difficult at times.
it did. But then we'd go on date nights.
You
You
have
know.
to make time for your
Yes.
partner.
How long have you guys been together? What's your anniversary at?
So
got
30. It was
31
31
years
years
married.
in April, married.
I don't think you get 31 years without persevering, without seeing it through the good and the bad.
We've been
34, by the way. So they've known each other for.
Yeah, we've known each other for 35 years. It was 35 years in May, and we've been together, like we started dating July of 92. 93. July 93.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
We started officially dating, yeah.
Well, how long were you guys?
No, July 92. It was July 92 we started officially dating.
No, 92.
Because you guys got married 3 years after Laura. How long after you guys started dating did you guys get married?
We got married, we started dating July 92, got married April of 94. Moved in together in November of 93.
Oh, you waited a year in between, huh?
92, November
92?
92.
Okay, I was going to say that's...
Yeah, because we lived together and then asked you to marry on your birthday.
Yep, my 21st birthday.
Yeah?
Did you ever hear the story of how he did it?
I still never asked her to marry me.
He's never asked me to marry him officially.
No, you just... What did you do? I've heard this before.
Put the ring in the microwave.
In the
So I
microwave.
could clean out the microwave. Well, he had given me a ring for Christmas that year before, but it was a pink cubic zirconian. And I got all excited when I opened it. He was like, "That's not what you think it is." Because he could see where my mind was going. I thought it was an engagement ring. He's like, No, that's just a ring. And I'm like, oh. So I wore it. That was cool. All right.
I hated that ring.
Why?
It was so tall.
December 92.
She
It
put
was
her head.
because I wore it on my
she put
left
her on
hand.
her hand over there, and I'd roll over on that in the middle of the night.
It
and
had-
it would wake me up.
It had
Just-
very long tongs on it. It was a very big. It was a 1 carat cubic zirconian, so it was like
Yeah.
a cheap ring. It wasn't a real gem, but it was tall.
It
And
was sharp.
so
It
then
hurt.
when he gave me my engagement ring and he put it in the microwave, and when I opened up the microwave to clean it out, which was his reasoning for me to do, and I was like, I opened up, but I'm like, is this what I think it is? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. We were engaged. Like, he never said, will you marry me? I didn't get what Abby got.
Yeah.
Spiel in front of everybody.
And then I told her she still got to clean the microwave.
Yeah. I wouldn't fly in today's age.
there was burger blood in it. It had to be cleaned to make stuff.
Is there anything you see in your parenting that you think I've inherited? Or that maybe Laura's inherited?
So much.
Good and bad?
Yeah, good and bad. I would say
What
bad
stands
being,
out?
Bad being anxiety. And
For Laura?
yelling.
For me? Yelling.
and no patience.
Okay.
You, however, have a lot of patience. You like went the opposite. Like your patience with Shar is amazing.
It wears thin sometimes, but it's dependent on a lot of outside effects. But
Yeah, you definitely have, but I've seen you go the other way too, but I've also seen you have a lot of patience with her. And the good parenting is I just think like making your kids number one. Like Laura and John make their kids number one. You guys make your daughter and
Oh, yeah.
soon to be daughter number one, you know.
top priority.
My cats are number one.
Your cats are number one. Yeah, you guys you're always making sure your kids take first place in your life, and that's how it should be. Unless you're on a date night, in that case, make sure you each other take first
We
place.
still feel a lot of guilt, me and Abby, when we go on date night. There's been times
Oh,
where we've dropped Shar
We
off
always
at
did too.
we dropped Shar off at grandma's for to spend the night, and then I pick Shar up at 9 o'clock because I want to have a movie night with my baby girl.
Yep.
And like we've gone and picked her up after the date, and then like, sorry, yeah, we just decided on dinner.
Have you ever challenged yourselves not to talk about your kids when you go on a date?
No.
Don't do it. It doesn't work. These parents are
You
like, we're
sit
gonna go
there
on a
and look
date
at
and we're
not
not
saying
gonna
a
talk
word.
about our kids. We're gonna just talk to each other like we're just don't have kids. No, you can't do it. Doesn't work, does it, Laura? No. Right? That's how I was. I mean, I did daycare until Mason was 5 years old. I had my kids and 9 others at the house. Like, there was summers I had 11 children in my trailer doing daycare during the day.
Honestly, at times it was real fire.
So yeah, you'll never go on a date and not talk about
I do
your kids.
remember a
grew
good
up
bit of daycare.
A mile, country
I like
mile
fondly.
that
I
way.
remember a
Kyle
good
Wickham,
bit of daycare.
Keith and Mikey
Fuck,
hanging
nowhere
out.
I remember blowing
No one
up
around us
toilets
hanging
in the
out, man.
backyard. I remember digging holes. I remember kicking Doug
Trying to
Smith in
dig
the
a
nuts
hole
on the
to China.
trampoline.
David and
No, it
Steven.
wasn't Doug, it was Tim.
Tim. Oh my God, it was Tim.
And I think I have a picture of like
That's yours, bro,
30
Cora.
2 minutes before or after.
So be careful.
Were there any family traditions you created intentionally as a parent?
The pickle.
The pickle?
The
Well, so
pickle.
that's an old Sherman tradition. But
Well,
you made it a family
Yeah,
tradition.
my friend Angie got us a pickle for Christmas one year, and I'm like, "What is this?" And she'd done it all her life, and she's like, "Explain it." I'm like, "That's freaking cool." Except for we did it that the first one, because I think the tradition is this: the first one, the
Gets a
finds
gift.
pickle gets an extra gift. Well, I always wanted to keep it even, like keep it even to the point when we were doing Easter baskets, I was counting to make sure you all had the same exact number of jelly beans in
We
your
would have
freaking
never
basket.
noticed.
I know, but I knew.
I told her that, but nope.
So the pickle, and I still do it today. That Easter basket you got that
I
I just
think-
put in your thing, your sister's got the same exact thing. Same shit.
I think a Bluey episode really kind of is like about that, like the being able to win and being able to lose comfortably, right? And that kind of comes with like they can play heavily into like a tradition like that, like getting an extra gift and like yeah, it sucks, but it's so much more rewarding when you
Right,
do win.
which is what I
And it
should've
might not be
done.
a lesson that's learned the first year, or the second year, or the third year, but once we've all won, like no one's gonna be really like. You know, we'd be craving more of the win than,
Yeah.
you know.
But I didn't want anybody to feel left out or set aside, so it was just you get to open the present first if you find the pickle. You
It
get
was
the
a
first
good.
one
That's
open
how I
the
thought it was. I didn't realize that the tradition was different until I looked it up later in life as an adult, and
Yeah.
then was like, oh, it's a whole extra gift.
Yeah, I forgot to put the pickle in there.
And then I was like, well, what the fuck?
And then when we had like,
I was like, they owe me at least 3 or 4.
if you remember the year,
Grandpa owes one. I know Grandpa found it one year.
I did. If you remember the year that Connie and Austin and Danica lived here, and we got the Xbox for you guys. We wanted to buy you guys an Xbox. So we did, but like we had extra children here. So like how do I let my kids open a freaking Xbox and not hers? So that's when we did the strings. We wrapped it, we put strings on it so you all pulled a string to open it. That was me trying to compensate for the fact that I wanted my kids to have this, but there were 2 extra children in this house at that point in time, so I had to make it fair for everybody. I did a lot of compensating.
Good job.
I did a lot of compensating.
Cecil, come on.
I mean, wasn't a lot of conflict between the children in regards to that.
Until you wanted to stab Stephen.
How did you handle discipline or tough conversations growing up? And what was the toughest moment?
See,
Dad
we were,
first.
We were at a lot of odds on discipline.
We were.
Your mother liked to really light discipline.
Or being...
I like to talk about it.
Talk or scream, that's it.
Or ground.
Yeah.
He wanted to blister your ass
I wanted to
most
listen to
time.
your asses.
So, I have, with Laura, it was one of the toughest times when I found out she was no longer a virgin. And I found out that it had happened at my house, which I had always prided myself on the fact that we're always home. We were not always home,
Don't take
apparently.
a teenage boy long.
With her, it was, oh, what happened? What did she hurt?
Probably not much.
So for Naraya, the hardest part was when the internet first became a thing, and she had that like Second Life or whatever it was, or
Yeah,
chat
just like
thing.
the chat rooms and the
And she was actually talking to a guy.
grown-ass man
I
guaranteed.
believe it, you know. And I was so afraid that she was gonna I was gonna wake up one morning, she was gonna be gone because she was such an unhappy teenager. She was pretty emo for a while, and
No, your sister.
I actually got on the phone. She was on the phone with a guy one time. Sounded like a teenager, but I got on the phone and told him that if he ever bothered to show up in my yard, I would have his ass arrested in a heartbeat.
He was 18, I was 14.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
lived down in Virginia.
Hey,
He's a problem.
happened.
He's a problem.
and then with you, it was probably you also were catfished by somebody, if you remember.
I don't think that was. I think that wasn't what everyone thought it was, but
Here, take your shot.
a lot of evidence against the fact, but it was no evidence supporting it either.
I also dealt with her.
Oh, David.
No, the girl you were talking.
No, I
Yeah,
know.
I dealt with her, whoever that was. That was the hardest part, was when the internet became a thing, and we didn't know the
Goddamn
dangers at the
internet.
time of it.
We got YouTube kids now, okay? You think you were stressed? You think you were stressed? My kid talking about going and dying in a road. I ain't ever fucking tell her that. You know what did? Fucking Combo Panda playing Roblox. All right, dude, let me tell you. We just try to moderate the entire fucking internet,
I'm
all
right.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you.
yeah. So that was my most stressful times when you guys were kids. I just trying to.
Walking into Fast Track. Are you gonna buy a trash can to put me in? What are you talking about? No, she goes, you're gonna write Char on it and put it by the road. And I'm like, where is this coming? The guy, my homeboy, he's like, what do you do to her, man? And I'm like, it's not what it looks like.
I swear to God, I'm not beating this kid.
I'm like, I've never even, this
I'm
is
not
all
beating
coming
him
together.
yet.
That one had me.
Yeah, as far as discipline, just I was one that I wanted to either scream at you for or ground you or talk to you, and he wanted to.
I think 2 out of 3 of those are like pretty valid, and I use the talking a lot. We talk about why. I typically use the talking post discipline. So if we're like standing in a corner or grounding, but I don't know. It's definitely.
It's never
I had
easy.
no idea.
You can't raise a kid without discipline.
Hey, no, don't eat mud.
Oh, that'd be terrible.
Icky baby.
I watched all that happen like with a marshmallow on a stick. It went right in her mouth.
You probably would have regretted it the first time.
Can't wait to show you this video in 15 years, kid.
Yeah, you can't. It's hard because you want to be the parent that doesn't spank their child or, have to put them in a corner or whatever. But there's sometimes that it needs to be done.
It used to.
You want to ride in a little bit, okay?
Last question. What advice would you give me now that I'm a parent?
Have patience with them, yourself, and your future wife. Patience is huge. And just be there. Don't let work be your end all be all. And just be there for your kids. Be there for your wife. Be there for your family. Don't let stuff distract you.
Separate your work and family life as much as you can.
Go to work, do your thing. But keep, after 9 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock at night, whatever.
That's what I'm studying.
I'm not, right, but you're not, you're not don't get called out to go show somebody, a house or whatever your future holds at like 7 o'clock at night. That's family time, you're home. I have a guy I work with and he's got 3 young kids at home and his wife and him have been married 7 years. And he works his tail off and I'm like, Josh, go spend time
Wasn't
with
he
your
at the baby shower?
No, that's
No,
no.
that was Devo.
Go spend time with your kids. Go spend time with your wife. And I joke about it. I'm like, your wife's going to divorce you. Continue that. But I'm like, as a parent, I know how much you can let that stuff distract you because you're trying to make sure you got the money. You're trying to make sure you're succeeding at your job. But succeeding at raising those kids and keeping your family together, that is your number one priority. And you don't want them to be like, you don't want them to be like, yeah, Dad was there for us, but he also worked all the time. You don't want the song. What's the song? The Little Boy Blue and the
Cats
Man
in
in the
the
Moon.
Cradle.
Cats in the Cradle.
Cats in the
You
Cradle.
don't want to live that song.
Alone on the moon. Wow, yeah, that is about.
You don't
want
wanna
to
live that song.
Oh, I've never really listened to it.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I've never listened to that.
No, I've listened to it. I've just never comprehended the words
Yeah.
and kind of put them to a
You don't want to
context.
be that.
and
You don't want to live that song.
That makes a lot of sense.
Every time I hear that song, I think about you guys.
Oh God.
That and Simple Man.
What about you, Dad? You got any good advice as a man about to be a parent for?
Oh, like I said,
Sure, I'll have a
Separate
Snickers
your-
ice cream.
separate your work life from your kids' life. Kids are more important. You can always make money.
Always make more money. Never
And you can always
take
lessen.
back that time.
You
Could
can
always
always.
make more kids.
Just
You can
make
try
three.
making more kids, but
Doesn't always solve
it
things.
doesn't work as it's on the first ones.
You can always adjust your lifestyle to your income level. You cannot adjust your kids. You can't equate that with your kids. Like if you're not making enough money, you can adjust with that. You can't go back in time and relive your kids' lives with them and reparent them and be there for them.
What about you guys? Do you have any questions for mom or dad while we're here? I only asked them 30. I think 29. I think I skipped one.
You did really good though. I liked your list.
All right. Thank you guys.
Yes.
Do you have anything to tell the grandkids in 10 years' time or?
Don't piss off your parents.
Family is number one, and you always have to be there for your family, unless they're not good for you. But ours is.
Thank you.